Hey there fiddlers, welcome back to our Bluegrass Fiddle transcription class, Essential Bluegrass Solos. This month I have fantastic classic Bluegrass Fiddle solo from Kenny Baker. This is the intro to Mule Skinner Blues. This really demonstrates some of Kenny Baker's beautiful longbow stylistic approach and really bluesy, gorgeous lines. So yeah, this is a great study. It's in the key of G and lots of bluesiness going on, so I'll sort of go over some bluesy approaches. First of all, let me play it to you a couple of times and then we'll break down the phrases. Okay, let me play this along with the metronome here for you so that we can get used to some of the uneven phrases. As far as I can tell, this does sort of end out at about a 12-bar format, although the chord changes don't fall where a 12-bar blues would normally fall. It evens out to around about 12 bars. I don't know whether that's by happenstance or by design, but it all works out in the end. As I said, the chord changes sort of come in a little bit more of a unregulated way than they would in a normal 12-bar blues, but the fiddle is very clearly sort of cueing when those chord changes happen, so it's pretty easy to follow as a band member. But there are some uneven sort of phrase lengths going on, so it helps to hear it with the metronome, I think. I'm going to put the metronome on at 88 beats per minute here. We'll get that going and check out especially this first note, which holds for 5 beats before we move on. And that's definitely an interesting choice, but Kenny Baker is always consistent about that. So I kind of love that as part of the quirkiness of this solo. All right, let's get the metronome going. Okay, so we're going to have 5 beats at the beginning. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so as I said, this is in the key of G, and we have lots of bluesy sort of approaches going on. Let's just go over some bluesy stuff in the key of G. Remember that when we're playing bluesiness in the key of G, we sort of have a couple of points of bluesy gravity, I would say. We have our sort of B flat to B, often with that movement there. You try not to sort of give it away, you know, and by giving it away, I mean like get to the B note. It adds more tension to just sort of like not quite make it, or just only make it at the very end. We have our flat 7th, so that was the sort of flat 3rd to 3rd, the B flat to B. Then we have our flatted 7th, which is F natural. And we often sort of are sliding around that too, so F natural to F sharp, landing on the G. And then our third sort of area of bluesy gravity is our D and D flat. And we can kind of approach the D or fall away from the D. So those sort of 3 areas are the sort of most common places where you can massage those notes to make them really bluesy. And that goes with any key, the third, the flatted seventh, and the fifth note, and sort of sliding around those notes. So keep that in mind as we go through these phrases. I'm not going to spell out every single note for this lesson. I'm just going to slow down our phrases, and I know that you guys are on top of it. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so as I said, first note here holds for 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finishing on that B. So got that sort of sliding up to the D and falling back to the B natural. We are kind of giving it away there, but it's beautiful. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, our next phrase. It kind of doesn't make sense to stop that phrase at any point. It is all just sort of one big run-along sentence, but I'll split it up. Okay, let's do that much. So again, we're starting on that B flat. So we're sort of intersplicing that open E string, aren't we? Then we're going to keep going down. So on that slide down there, I'm actually starting that with my third finger on the C sharp or the D flat, rather than using the sort of fourth finger closer to a D. I think that's a really cool little idea, and definitely something to take from the solo and use in other keys. So that's what, doing these transcriptions is so good for. Okay, that big run-along sentence, starting on the B flat. I think it's actually, so open F, although you can do, that also works to my ear. So that phrase ends like that. So, okay, let's get those two phrases together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're changing the chords. We're heading to a C chord now. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to head to the flatted seventh of the C chord, which is B flat. So we're going to do a sort of like fall down to the B flat note. I do this kind of like D, D flat, C, B flat. Okay, so we have, and then the answering phrase for that still in C. So we're at B flat, and then when we head back to the G chord, we're doing this little up to the B. So from the C chord, Just sort of solidify that we're in G. Great lick. That's all major, you know, but there's something about the way that Kenny plays it that still makes it sound bluesy. Gets that slide up to the B. Beautiful. Okay, this is a really cool phrase. Okay, so going on from that phrase that we just did, we're going to head to the F note there. And this is really where Kenny Baker's sort of longbow approach really comes in. I was watching a video of him playing this solo, and he really does hold that last phrase particular in a big long up bow so that he can come crashing down on the down bow with that very last G note. So from the C chord, we're going to go like this. I did that on an up bow, but never mind. Okay, we're almost there. We're going to head to the D chord now, the 5 chord. Okay, beautiful sort of bluesy D note. We're sort of heading to that F to F sharp. So spelling out that D chord. And then resting on the 7, flatted 7 of D. And then we're doing this sort of signature Mule Skinner lick here. Oh, I love that one so much. And one really cool thing that I like about Kenny's playing on this particular phrase is the use of the F sharp. My instinct, if I had been playing this, would have been to use this sort of more F natural. But I really like just this really major 7th. It still sounds bluesy and in character, and I'm not sure how that works, but it works so well. So we're sliding from the B flat, using that really major 7, and then we're going to sort of finish off with the same lick that we did before after the C chord. Alright, I got the bowing on that one that time. Okay, so we've basically broken down each of those little phrases, and I've played them slowly. I'm going to set the metronome to a little bit of a slower tempo here, and I want you to sort of sing these phrases along or play them along with me, and we'll get them going together. We'll do it a couple of times in time with the metronome, because I would say that probably one of the hardest parts about this solo is where the phrases start and end. So playing it along with the metronome is definitely helpful for that, and playing it along with either me and the metronome or with Kenny Baker on the video that I'll link to. So let's do that together, and that'll be sure to have us plan it in the right timing. Let's do it. Okay, I have the metronome set for 66, and that should be a nice slow tempo to do it a couple of times around with you. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. let's try it one more time. 1, 2, here we go. 3, 4, 5. Alright, thanks for joining me for this Essential Bluegrass solo. As always, I'll have the music notation up on my Patreon page. Please like and subscribe this video on YouTube and check out my Patreon page for tons more lessons, for full transcriptions and tons more exclusive content. We'll see you next lesson.